Hello, my fellow magicians of all ages, races, and species. I am the Feral Elf, and I'm here to help lead you to the Mega Happy Timeline. I'm broadcasting to you from a dimension where the apocalypse has already happened, in the bad way. Though seriously, it's kind of not as bad as you'd think it would be. Portals opening and closing everywhere without warning, demons running rampant, alien colony ships occupying the skies, the moon, hollow generational spaceship. But here's the thing, your dimension is just beginning to crack. You are in the early stages of cosmic meltdown, and believe me, it does not have to go as badly for you as it did for me. That's why I'm here. Via the divinatory sciences, the high art of authentic fiction, and a little tactical chaos magic, I'll help you decode the signs, sidestep the soul traps, and maybe survive to ascend to the higher dimensions with your empathy intact. Let's stay exceptionally weird. Let's get grounded. And what we're going to begin with, as always, is the ear check, because I am the Feral Elf, okay? But I know because I'm broadcasting to you from another dimension and timeline and kind of during the apocalypse, like it's not over yet, like it's wild, okay? But the thing is, because of all of the dimensional glitching, you cannot always see my ears. And I know I used to broadcast from y'all's dimension and timeline before we split off, okay? Dasa is scratching things, and yes, they made it as well. Like, please, you really think that anything's gonna happen to them? But I was transmorgified from a human into an elf, okay? But like, you can't always see my ears when I'm doing stuff, so we have to do the ear check so you can see that there's actually like ears, okay? Wait, let me get up, because oh my god. There's like, hopefully you can see that. There's one, and then there's the other. So that is the ear check. And you can't see them really like back here because, you know, of everything that I just said, but they are there. So just, you know, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. So let's see what is on the table today. Ooh, maybe some happiness or some people. Oh my goodness, what's happening here? Let me look at this. Interesting. Someone feels like they're trying to dictate fate or their fate. I don't know if these are actual people. These could be actual people who are kind of a little bit like chaotic and free-spirited, and there's like another energy here that's like, I gotta sort this out. I gotta sort this out, or this is someone sorting out their own fate or their own destiny. If it's that second one, this would be kind of like a more higher level magician, okay? So what we are starting with is the Three of Cups, which could be fates or like more free-spirited people. And then we have this Emperor, and I can't really hold him up like too close, but in this version of the Emperor, his scepter or their scepter is kind of like magical. He's got a magical wand here, so we could be talking about a very high-level magician. And then we have this Seven of Cups, which is like a lot of different things, right? So we could be talking about a lot of different kind of free-spirited, free-flowing people, but it could also be talking about someone has a lot of different options for where their destiny can go, but since they're a high-level magician, they are not necessarily subject to the whims of fate unless they choose that, because sometimes that's fun, but they can sort it out. So it seems like it's one of those two, unless I get something different in the, you know, justice. That like we're still either talking about balancing energies, or these are fates or destinies. So it still could be either or to me. A King of Wands underneath the Emperor. Girl, that's the high level magician, girl. So someone's sorting stuff out. Okay, we got a high level magician here, most likely sorting stuff out within their life. Four of Wands, okay, blah, blah, blah. So this is part of them walking through a particular threshold or an initiatory experience. This doesn't feel like an actual event with the Four of Wands. Like sometimes I'll get that with the Three of Cups and the Four of Wands kind of present on the table. You can be kind of talking about a party, especially with the Seven of Cups, but it's not really giving that at the moment. I'm still getting like somebody's looking to do something, but there's definitely like heavy magic involved here. Three of Swords on this, a sacrifice might be necessary. Well, Three of Swords, Three of Cups, I don't know. That's giving like, I'll kill God. Like it's kind of giving I'll kill God, or there's like some kind of sacrifice necessary, or if these are more, oh, you know, the four, okay, this person is going from the Three of Cups to the Justice, which is much more structured and balanced, but we're ending with that Three of Swords. And then on the other side of this high-level magician, we have the Seven of Cups to the Four of Wands. That is also going from something that's more nebulous down to something with more structure. And so if we're not talking about people or like the fates, this is someone who is recognizing that if they want to live a particular outcome or lifestyle, it's sort of like, I can't be as frivolous. I need to sacrifice some of my freedom in order to have this structure that I want. And it's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's just sort of like, if you want more, so like if you're somebody who's more of an artist or like a freelancer, that comes with benefits and drawbacks because you get to set your own schedule, but also your income might not be as stable. And also it's up to you to go out there and like get clients and things like that. And it can be a struggle, like keeping them, and there's all sorts of competition, right? So, but you are in charge of yourself and you set your schedule and you get to essentially do whatever you want to do. However, someone might try that for a little while and either find that they're not good at it or there's aspects of it that they don't like. And so maybe they want to work at a more like a small business or at a corporate environment. When you do that, you must give up some of your freedom because in order to receive that more stable income and more security, you can't be doing everything it is that you want to do when you want to do it. You're on somebody else's time schedule, which also comes with benefits and drawbacks. And for some people, that's simply not going to work unless they can really like work it out with their employer or with hybrid jobs and everything now. So anyway, that's potentially what that Three of Swords is. It is a sacrifice. If I want this, then I must give up at least some of this. It doesn't feel like it feels kind of like it's a real sacrifice, but it's not something that feels especially painful. Like it doesn't feel like, well, who's this? A Queen of Swords? Because I was about to say, is this an X? This is not an X. This is like, this person has like a taskmaster. It's not a real person. This is like a familiar spirit or an angel, or there's some sort of like guiding force in this person's life going, if you want this, because that's the swords. This person is like dictating to them. It's like, you like, if you want this, you need to do this. And you need to be kind of like serious about it. And you need to put the sword in it. It needs to be done if you want this over here. So this person is listening, either consciously listening to and has called in some form of guidance or a being to help them, or this is like there's a being there. I would guess like if this is a high-level magician, they'd have to know, and probably they had a hand in calling that being in, but they could just be unconscious of it. I'm not sure. We'll look at it. Okay. And we are ending with an Empress. So if we're looking at this as an example of people, right? This Three of Cups, our Emperor, King of Wands, and then we're ending with this Empress on this Four of Wands. The King of Wands can also be more of a free spirit. We could be talking about someone who, you know, healthfully had maybe a lot of different they were like more of a partier, right? They had like more than one partner and they kind of like went their way, you know, they were a rolling stone or whatever. But the type of person who they want now is more of an Empress, and an Empress isn't really a Three of Cups type of person. Like the Empress is the Empress, and this is an Emperor here. This is an Emperor, so this person does have the capability to match with an Empress, given, so if this is not a magician, I still feel like this is possibly a magician. What we're talking about, if it's not though, is a King of Wands heavy Emperor. So this would be like more of a bachelor who could, like if it's like a traditional type of person, they could get married if they super wanted to, but they haven't wanted to. And for whatever reason, maybe now they kind of want to, or they ran into somebody. And so they're just like, well, if this person is going to be the person that I'm getting into something serious with, I can't have all of this going on over here. And so that just seems like the story to me. And it doesn't seem like whatever's going on with this Three of Cups, Justice, Three of Swords, it's not really relevant. I have no questions about that. What I have questions about is our Emperor, King of Wands, because that's the same person. I have questions about this Queen of Swords. And I guess I'll look at the Empress as well. I'm actually mostly curious about that Queen of Swords and like what kind of being or whatever that is. But let's see if we can't get any more information on our Emperor, King of Wands, because the energy on this feels fairly stable. Like it doesn't, I'm not feeling heavy drama here. I'm not feeling heavy conflict. We'll see though. Our Emperor, King of Wands. We have 5 of Cups. I don't know what's wrong. Crying, sad. 7 of Coins. If this person had to go through a grief process. Knight of Wands. If this person had to go through some kind of a grief process, that lasted a while and now they're headed the way they want to go. What's this? What's the 5 of Cups? Who's sad? If it's the Emperor, who's sad? Why sad? I mean, they are crying over that 3 of Cups. So, I mean, it could just be a normal grief. Like everybody, when you're making a life change, even if it's a life change that you want to make, when you're sacrificing something, there is still a grief process over it, usually. 5 of Cups, Page of... You know, it's not really giving grief process so much. It's just sort of like, it is natural when you're going through this, because this seems like a major transition in someone's life, as this person has been, you know, changing themselves and aligning themselves with what they want. You naturally go through a bunch of different emotional phases to get from King of Wands type of person who's like, you know, interacting more 3 of Cups style with people, to somebody who is an Emperor who wants to be in something structured with an Empress. Like, you don't just jump from one to the other normally. You do have to go through like rounds of emotional shedding. So it's not so much that this person was sad, it's just talking about the more uncomfortable or painful aspects of a long-term inner transformation. That part was more slow. It seems like they are out of it. I'm hearing a yes on that. They're out of it, but they've been guided through it with this Knight of Wands. 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands with the King of Wands can be a little bit like, well, what does that mean? The 4 of Pentacles is on that Knight of Wands, and so it's just like, that's like a stable thing. This person isn't like impulsive and running around. They are very stable in their Knight of Wands energy, so it just means that they're moving fairly rapidly. So I don't see any conflict there. Let's see what's going on with our Queen of Swords. This would be like the being or guide that is like being a bit like, I don't know, dictatorial is a strong word, but they're very much like, you need to do this. Like it's a very militaristic style of coaching that this being is doing, or yep, Judgment underneath that, Queen of Swords. Ooh, like that's potentially an angel. That's a karmic being potentially. And they're saying, look, if you want this, you need to do this, because we already had justice come out. It's like, you need to balance this, that, and the other if you want to be over here. And if you are just going to bellyache, then you need to like get out of here and go be with like these people and stay how you are. But for as long as I'm here, yeah, this being is just helping them manifest. Page of Pentacles, what's over? 10 of Swords. This being is navigating them through whatever ending. Like I'm saying, it's like, it's a ruthless type of thing. It's like, Judgment, this is done, we need to go over here. And the thing with that is that typically doesn't just happen. Somebody has to call that in, or somebody has to be at a point in their process where they're ready for something to be ruthlessly done for the beings to come in and assist with that. So I'll pull some on this 10 of Swords. Like if I can get one card just on this 10 of Swords and Judgment, because the Page of Pentacles is just kind of like happy new manifestation. Yeah, the Fool, this is about freedom. So even though this is kind of like, it's coming across kind of harsh with the Queen of Swords, 10 of Swords, Judgment, in general, this is a happy process. This is a liberating process. It's just, it's got some sort of hard edge to it for this particular person and this particular being. So let us take a look at what's going on with this Empress. We'll get our final advice outcome, and then we'll close with the Jesus and a Bob. Because again, the Empress might just be a type. That might not be an actual person, but we will see. I know what that card is. Our Empress seems to be in a fairly stable place if we're not describing a type here. 3 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, 9 of Cups. It's just saying that this Empress, if they are a real person or if they are a type, they are only interested in stable, loving, compatible relationships that are happy or pleasurable, 9 of Cups. So this is either this person's preference or what the Emperor, King of Wands, the type of relationship that they want to have with a particular type of person or with a specific person. So there's nothing going on with this Empress. They're a vibe, whoever they are. So let's go ahead and get the final advice after. Like I said, there's no real like super conflict here. It seems like these two are together already, or they're gonna quickly, like they're gonna come together. The burden of the coming together is on the more active energy. the energy that is appearing as the Emperor, King of Wands, which doesn't, I'm saying active as mask or masculine, that like you can be a woman, identify with that Emperor, King of Wands, and you can be a man and identify with that Empress. Or you could be a non-human watching this and you could identify with the being. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm trying to judge these beings and tell them what's what, and they're like going every which way. So we're helping the beings too. Okay, so this is all positive for our final advice outcome. I have a star in the Page of Wands, so the stars, everything's coming to into alignment for these things to take place. If this is happening for you, like relatively close to when I'm posting, you should start to see small signs of this. You should start to be getting like little synchronicities. Let me see if I can narrow down what those synchronicities might be. If you aren't on a dimension or timeline where stuff is going to be happening like right away, these are the types of synchronicities that you may see when things are lining up if you feel like this is for you. You're gonna be in a emotionally strong place. So this is like more, what's that? Protected? For those of you who are still experiencing death synchronicities like we were getting at more towards the beginning of the year, that is still going on. That is not over yet. So that could be happening still, unfortunately. So something that you may notice is that if there's a lot of stuff going on around you, like a lot of transitions, a lot of maybe more stressful things, you are going to be handling that emotionally very well. So you might be feeling some stress with stuff that's going on, but it's not going to be like rattling you big time. That could technically apply to either the Emperor or the Empress. So the synchronicities that you're going to be looking for something like this is even before you like run into like this person reveals themselves to you, if it's somebody that you already know, before they kind of debut themselves as wanting a relationship like this, or maybe if you haven't met this person yet and they are going to be appearing in your life, it looks like both people, or however multiple people we're talking about, a big synchronicity is you're both going to be going through some sort of significant transition or fork in the road in your lives that you are going, like that can be stressful and can be a lot of work, but you're navigating it really well, okay? Even if you're feeling like a little shaken up inside, I promise you, you're doing a lot better than you think you are. And then there's this hidden aspect here on this. We have the Seven of Swords and Seven of Wands. Well, the Seven of Swords was the original card at the ending, and I was like, well, what's that hidden thing? And the Seven of Wands is there, which is kind of saying like, this is kind of behind closed doors. Like there's something here that's not seen or being defended against, and there's the Chariot on that. So there is also some form of hidden rapid movement, or if you're thinking like if you're navigating a lot of different transitions and changes and other things in your lives that have nothing to do with like an incoming relationship or forming a relationship with someone, what that means is that part of what's going on is hidden from you. You're not necessarily seeing this other person yet or whatever, but you are nonetheless headed, like the canon event is coming. So everybody, no matter where they are, if this is your read, is on course for this canon event, but it may not seem like it to you because you're not seeing the hidden stuff. You may not even know this person yet for some of you, okay? So that's like essentially everything's fine, no matter if things are kind of like in flux right now around you. It's fine, you're fine. I'm not seeing anything that anybody has to do, and I'm not seeing any big conflict other than what you would already be navigating in your own life. And also you have that under control. So we are going to close with a Jesus and a Bob. We actually have two Bobs today, but we'll start with Jesus says, I will not leave you as orphans. So that is some reassurance that like, yes, there is some sort of canon event or collision course happening if you feel like you've been doing a lot of stuff on your own. Like that is witnessed, that is seen, and it is reassurance. It's like, no, you're not gonna have to spend your whole life alone. Just like keep going the course, like you're fine. So Bob firstly says, you can move mountains, rivers, trees. You can determine what your world is like. That's more in line for me with whoever the more Emperor, King of Wands energy is. They're the more active force. The Empress, even though they're navigating some sort of personal change, it didn't seem too tumultuous to me. It did seem like kind of a lot did seem like they were dealing with a little bit of stress, but comparatively, it seemed like the Emperor, King of Wands energy was going through a little bit more on their end. So, but that's just saying that, like, yes, this person is doing that. And also, if you are resonating more with that King of Wands, Emperor energy, and you are feeling like maybe the sacrifices that you're making, like, am I going to be able to do them? Am I going to be able to stick it through? Like, can I maintain the type of life that I want to live? Yes, you can. Just let it happen in the time it is meant to happen for you. Don't give up on it. And if you are called into being active in doing something and building something and going out there and pursuing something, don't ignore that. Do that thing. Likewise, if you're not feeling that, if it's feeling more like, no, I just need to like be still for a while, then acknowledge that as well. Bob finally says, this is a happy place. Little squirrels live here and play. So we do have some sort of a happy end in sight. So if you're still like, this is kind of a, you know, kind of a middling read because nothing super dramatic's going on. Real life is happening, life transitions are happening, and everybody seems to be handling that well. And yes, we are building to some sort of major canon event. It is just not the time for it yet. So my dear trans-dimensional triple ipsissimus occultist, you have reached the checkpoint. You get to save your progress. If you felt something stirring in your gut, your spirit, or in the shadows within or without the shelter that you probably don't own, never fear. It is probably just the truth trying to get your attention. Probably. So until next time, light a candle, banish regularly, protect your peace, say hey to the local humans and non-humans in your area for me, and always remember, while it may be dark, you're not alone, and you're not crazy, probably. You're just ahead of the curve. I'm the Feral Elf. On this channel, we stay truly strange and respectfully sovereign. I'll see you soon for our next transmission.